p12c, and I'll be picking up with the text here that I left off in the last video. Just needed to change the word to Jesus so we're known. When I'm reading this story and rereading it, just needs, can't have Jesus be called he too many times, okay? Or him. So when I realized that this doesn't really tell what Jesus' intent of his word is meaning here, and it's not that they're neither wrong, because you are to make, who makes vows is indebted. Um, it seems that Jesus is using the word vows here as a little v, that they aren't understanding what a vow is. And a vow is something that you make a personal promise to our Creator, and you live by that. Here, when it says you're indebted, um, it isn't that you're indebted, as the word would mean today. So, I know I don't like using secular words, but the meaning is tied to this here, indebted, that it means that it's relating to money. So the thing here is who swears by, or who vows to YB. A vow is different than the word swears. So, but these two are being related. So maybe I should make it a small v. And I think that needs to be mentioned later. So let me pull up this text. I have that here, so it doesn't get confused. Because these two are wrong, okay? Not that one is right or neither of them are right. It's this understanding of what the word vow really means, okay? Because when you tell somebody that you're owe them and you're indebted to them, those words you're supposed to do your best to, because your word is your truths. So, and you're not supposed to be deceiving people by just saying this and then not not going through with this. So it's you should make good on your debts, in other words, and you don't need to swear by his house or swear by our Creator. These two are just wrong, but I want to make sure that it is understood what I'm talking about here, that your word you're supposed to act upon. Now, those that you're indebted to, they are supposed to be merciful, and also to say that if they can afford it, they say the debt is forgiven. So you're not supposed to actually demand things to them. These people are trying to show you their honesty by telling you that I know that I owe you and I will get it back to you. So you are supposed to be lenient with those that can't do, and they might want to speak these words. Example, if you look at the Chinese people at this time, and I know in Japan, it's even in the even written in their laws, I believe, that the family years later are still responsible for debt that happened maybe 300-400 years ago, still trying to pay the debt off. There's no forgiveness there, and that's what our Creator did, that commanded us to do, is to forgive them. But it's a way of life in many countries that this ongoing debt is supposed to be repaid. and it causes a lot of pain on people that um, don't need this debt putting on them. And because they keep adding interest to keep them always in debt, that's just a wrong way to live. Here, I needed to clean up to be more said personally by Jesus, and just like here, we already know who we're talking, who Jesus is talking to. Now, here is the story that I think I was telling people that I would be throwing out when I get to it at this part. The more I thought about that, the more I realized that, gee, these words could be changed just a little bit, and it would mean um, what I'm pretty sure the intent of the text is. And instead of there being 10 virgins, there are going to be 10 teachers. Just like today, there are many people that are teaching. Some are very honest, some are just gaining wealth and deceiving people. The thing here is when the story goes down and you see it here, and the way I made it, and not the groom, but our king, this is relating to Jesus now, that you're going to live with him forever as the story comes out. These others are not being accepted. So it's very much uh, the intent of the other parables being said just a different way. So I needed all these little changes here to make sure that that's being said instead of me just throwing out the text. Um, and I would have. I mean, there's no place to change that text back to if they're virgins and a groom. That just is falseness. Um, okay, it seems like I'm moved under this verse, so I don't know where I'm going to say that move this text. And then when I moved it here, I'm changing the big word from heed to note. I think that this is better said than take heed. When Jesus is talking about this before his second coming, people are to note that Jesus has said that, just not take heed. They are supposed to act on it and take note of what Jesus is being said, how you're supposed to act and forget what's going on. Because right now, a lot of people need mercy and compassion to enter in heaven. A lot of Christians call themselves Christians. They just do not follow the text, do not follow the command. They are so brainwashed today by these people who call them priests, yet Jesus got rid of the priests. They take you into confession, and then they think your sins are forgiven. That's just wrong. You don't even know what a sin is. Okay, so um, uh, but from now on, those that read this story, you better be obeying our Creator as much as you can, for the simple fact that He would rather have you understand that your willingness to obey His command is better than um, you saying one thing and doing another. It just makes you not. Um, it does make you lesser by not listening to all his commands and doing them and trying at their best. And there's no excuses from those that hear what I'm saying and understand how the text is being written. And it's going to be this way until Jesus comes. So this is just correcting a little bit. But here I'm using the word holy words because when Jesus defines uh, what Holy Spirit is, it does mean it's his word or his breath. And it is, um, I would consider it being holy now that, example, it's happened to me that I just, I've done things that people have had to reconfirm by coming and talking to me. And a few times I'm able to understand what I'm saying coming out of my mouth. I know that I'm not saying these words, that our creator will make you say these words. Sometimes they are prophecy. Others that are teaching need to be taught different than what I would be able to teach them. So these words come out of my mouth. So I know that I'm saying they're his holy words that are speaking from you at this time. And when it happens to you, understand that your mouth will be moving, but your thoughts will be, I'm listening to what I'm saying, not that I'm creating these words to come out of my mouth. So here's that verse that I moved up above that I didn't know where I got it from. Here, I don't need these words here. This has pretty much been said above. I'm moving these verses around from here to moving it to here. Here, I'm just getting rid of the word heed, and then Jesus is reconfirming that this, I couldn't mesh all the text into one, so I've got him saying this one way, and then I got him re-establishing it, meaning again, um, take note that Jesus is saying these things and remember them and live your life as unto our Creator as much as possible. Whenever who hits you off from the other side, I'm going to say this needs to be added. Who has the power? Who has power to hit you? Meaning that you're subjugated to them and they're threatening you by more than you being able to stand up for yourself at that time. So um, that's what this text is going to be saying, because it's not wrong to defend your family. It's not wrong to defend our Creator um, uh, over petty things. You should be um, just letting the other person speak and get out of it. And if they hit you, there's no sense of you to offer on the other side, because you are not in the wrong. But one who has the power over you, let them show that they have the power over you. And it doesn't mean anything to that when you hit them, like, it doesn't matter to me. Go ahead and hit me here, kill me. I know where I'm going. Uh, so you should have a trust beyond those people, not fearing what they can do to you. This doesn't happen at this time. It's not like it is the next day, so this has to be removed. There's too many days between here. We know perfume does not last for more than a day, day and a half, maybe. This text, you'll know that's pretty easy. This has been said above, so I don't need it being repeated here. I needed to change, be held by his belt rope. And I got it now that he just put the towel over his shoulder. And when I'm realizing that these two verses can be combined to make one, to be truthful, that's what I did there. Um, Let me check something for a minute here. Okay, yes, I'm on video C. Beat it. Okay. Because I was just realizing that I've been talking a while, but it's actually only been 10 minutes in this video, so that's good. Um, Here, this is where I said I moved that text from above. This is where it went, and then I meshed it into here, and then the text needed some correcting. And a lot of these words that are in yellow are going from one place to another place. So, um, When it's got I am distressed, I just used the word distressed here. Didn't need to put this whole verse up in here. I just meshed that. I removed this text, and then this one here went here in this verse. So I guess it was so it wasn't to confuse you seeing it all chopped up, put together. So I'm just letting you know how this meshing is a little bit different than the others. But then when I had just this words up here, I needed to add this text because now this is what this is actually saying. They need to have extra words here to be properly understood. The story now has changed to he's talking to them and then he's talking to Peter. So that's what's needed. It wasn't just 1 hour, it was these hours. This I took, and I'm just taking this part and putting it up here, and then so it's not like a double verse or double saying. Here, I just don't need this here. Everybody would understand when they're reading that our Creator's voice did come right here. So the thing here is it doesn't need to be said here. And then they came to the other disciples because this group would have said that they were all together right now. So he took 3 of them up and went off a little bit farther up on another little hill and did some more. So there's 2 of them, 2 groups. They had split up. And this is where Jesus is going to come now. So this here, I'm just adding to make sure the text is being read better. Forgot this word didn't read right when it was there, so that needed to be edited. Here, because the word king is being used here, okay. Let's see. I guess I gotta change that manually. It's not going back in. I just wanted to see the word king. And that's what I'm adding in here in this text. So I felt like these words, when they're being said here, aren't as descriptive without these extra words being said here. So that's what's going on by me adding, that I taking it from this word here and putting it in here. So to get back to who he's talking about, I put his name in. These are pretty much easy to understand. These are easy to understand. That's easy to understand. This here, when the text is going to be different now, because the stories, when they're combined, he sent them out because the governor of Israel. Remember, there's 3 different regions, each having their own governor. When he comes back to Pilate, he's in Jerusalem, but he and Herod, Herod, here we go. I just want to make sure you understand that he sent him back to Herod, and Herod put on this robe on him, okay? And when he sent him back, I don't have any text saying that he didn't take off, then he put back on his regular clothing. It would have been ram hides. But the object here is that it was in a purple robe. Now, the thing here is the purple robe is going to be divided by them casting dice, I believe. So it ends up as Jesus naked on the cross. I believe that is what happens. I don't think they were. I think when you see him covered, it's to keep. Um, it's 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 not the truthfulest statement that they covered him, but it's respecting Jesus as you see him. So the thing here is this purple robe was never taken off of him, okay, until he was crucified. And then they cast the dice for the robe, not so much that his other clothing. Um, these edits are pretty easy. Stood up and made another effort because when you read the story, it couldn't be just once. He has to, uh, he was sitting once and then he has to make another effort. And to do that, I want to show that he was standing up and starting to argue with them. And then he sat. With the text here in this verse, I needed that he had to stand up and then sit down. So, um, Um, changing this word just because I want to keep those that are 10 years old reading this to not be searching out what all big words are. I'm trying to make it as simple as possible. This we already know is being said here, so I took it out. Um, it wasn't that he was beaten again, so that would have meant that when he was sent back to Herod, they beat him. They wouldn't have done that. So that's being removed. Then, because this is what Pontius is doing. So here, this can't be. He's already wearing it. Um, weave the crown of thorns. I believe that's what they've got up here. Or where do I have it? I know that it's yeah, Jesus came out wearing a crown of thorns. It's already on him. Okay. So it doesn't need to be um, restated. We already know what's going on. Okay. So this would have been a doubling of that, which we can't have in the text. We already have it on him. And he had on Herod's garment, this robe that he took. Okay. So that's how he ended up getting this robe. But the object is here it doesn't need to be said. We already have that on in the text above. Now here it's a place by his house. Now I've tried to tell people before that you've got to understand the layout of the city, and now this might be reversed when you're looking at me here, but I'm saying that this is on the. Let me see if I got this right when you're looking at the video. Yeah, my picture is reversed here, but the object is I'm saying that uh, when you look at the map, uh, where the city to enter into is coming up the hill, and then his house is right here, and right beside here, this area has been changed, so there has to be a road. This road coming in is by his house, not just to a place, but this road that's right there, and there's a graveyard beside him. It used to be the potter's field where they broke the pots and sent them down there, but it seems that over time they changed it to a graveyard. And so this is what I'm changing here. Um, this little correction, I'm sure, is not too difficult to understand because I'm realizing I'm running out of time. I thought I was going to get through more than this. And it's just that and changing the word they to soldiers. And they were mocking him. Highest priest was around. And then Jesus told them they're king because he's being mocked on the cross, rebuked or rejected him. Just a easier word for children to understand this word without having to look that word up. Certified, these are all simple to understand. He didn't cry out, he shouted. So that I'm thinking is, if there's anything that crying out is the same thing as shouted. So the blue text I'm getting rid of, just using the word was granted. It's just not needed. I'm trying to put the text, when I'm reading how they're all put together now, some of these words are not needed. As we took him down, made it more personal. Together we wrapped him, and then we laid spices on his body. This here, I would say that Joseph was helping him as well. So this would not, this I can't allow just to have there and put him off to the side. I know he's probably somewhere around 45 years old. So he would have been taking care of his son's body. This seems like I forgot to add what's in the story here. So I got to take a better look at that later. Because I'd really tried to label them here to get the understanding what's going on a day like that day. Okay, because when they, this is just starting off that day light of the next day. And I just wanted to make sure that that was noted in the text. So anyways, they brought more spices, and then why they use spices needs to be there. They did not see the body. They would have known where he laid them. And then they reported this to the disciples, which would be writing the text would be us. Now here, they're walking to a village that's out. I made sure the text was close to Lake Galilee, so it's 7 miles away. That's when Jesus met them, and then these are all easy enough to understand the changes there. There's no greater love for others. There's no greater act for others. This word act is replacing the word love. So this is getting down to the end where I needed to change a few words here to add and correct and make it smooth out a little bit better. And here, kingdoms, and what I've got here is nations, is a group of states. Okay, so that covers both ways that man has established their countries. Yes, those words were needed to be said a little bit different, for they might, not that they were going to all the time. So I needed to make sure that that wasn't the way it was said, that they might, because they're going to be approached all the time. And this here needed to have kingdoms or nations, either or, how they were established, even though I know Rome was pretty large at that time. And don't think that any of these other books from the text or belief what they did where they walked. I'm sure that some went eastward, some went south. So everything as you see has been so distorted for so long. You can't trust any of the other books now in the Bible other than what I'm using to correct and show you the true truths. Here is that verse right at the very beginning that I know that I went over, but it needed to be placed here. So that's the end of this text and its correction. And then this is what I'm started to do inside the cleaned up version. So this is what it's going to look like. I have the table of contents below at the bottom. So when you see how this finger goes over here, it goes all the way down to the bottom, and then you want to return back up to the top, you'll be pressing that. So it'll take you back and forth. And now I haven't, all those side notes that you've seen, that's how that's going to skip around back and forth, but I need to put all the book together because like I was saying, there's a limited amount of times that I can do a cross-referencing where I want to show you the verse and make it simple. I think you can only do like 99 of these. And the ones that I've got to decide which are most important will be cross-referenced, so you get to read the story of what is the intent of what it's talking about. So that's going to become at a later date, but this is what the text is going to look like. And then let's see, I think it's this one here that gets rid of me. And then you can see how I'm adding maps. These are from our Creator's Everlasting the book, Promises book. And I'm using those maps here to define what's going on. I know I've added, the only thing that I've added to these is like this location right here. That Jesus stopped and talked to the woman and that she went and got everybody from her village. But I'm leaving the maps. These are pretty much found in the other book, the one that you should really pay attention to. This text should be used as secondary. As you notice, I don't really have these here correct when I did the other maps, but I've got them like this. These should be more, these should be more down, set down a little bit farther to walk into actually where Jerusalem is at. But this is pretty much, well, when you see the maps of Jerusalem today, I'm not going to steal somebody else's map. I needed to create them on my own. But you'll see that the text is corrected now, and this is what the text will look like right now. Later, I will be pulling out these verses and all this extra editing. Okay. Because it looks like all the maps I've only added up to now 47 pages. I thought that would have been larger than that when I added the maps, but I guess the pages are 20 inches. So, yes, to see how easy they are to read and understand. But the object here is the text will be done, and it will be upgraded and removing these just to say that we don't need this text anymore, because in the long run, the historical archiving that I'm doing, you don't need any of your books anymore. You don't, your Bibles are just junk. This is just to be cross-referenced when you're studying. Where did I get the text? What did I do to it? How was it changed? I went through and really explained everything for your best knowledge of why I did things. And that's why when you see this text, when it's finished now, needed to actually have more influence and of my knowledge into the text. But these will be removed, and then they'll be combined, like I said, first in small paragraphs. Like this will be one format. The next one will be combining these a little bit more, and then I'll make them as a complete paragraph to be read as a group, just to make sure that no person tries to deceive you in the future by saying, well, I can change this and I get to own the copyrights. Because when you look at how many different Bibles out there, they're all just trying to make money. If you notice the true truths that I'm telling you about here, and what our Creator has given me to do and explain to you, you're now witnesses of me here in these videos, for you to be able to trust not to change any of these words and to always use these words. I don't care how they corrupt you and how they do whatever that. And I do know that maybe in the future, there will be rulers that will example that China does not allow the Bible to be written as it is. They've changed the Bibles over there, and only the underground over there gets to actually see the corrupt Bible that's here. But I know that they've issued their own, what's known as Bible, that they're really confusing you. People will have that type of authority until they start actually experiencing some of these, once they experience this other dimension known as the abyss, and when there's more stories about when people are just about to die, they'll see the light coming from heaven. They will now understand that these are true truths. I know it's going on around the world right now, because this is only starting to spread right now in China. This knowledge through higher ups, those that are trying to figure out everything that what I'm doing here. A lot of them are believing me, and this witnessing that I have of visiting the abyss and fighting to the death by righteous men. There will be righteous men from China and in every foreign country that will witness, and they know this practice of his light shining in the abyss. You don't know it, but actually in the I Ching is the way the English pronounce it, and that's their book of how to, for males to be able to live 1,000 years or average 1,000 years of life. So there's some that are going to average to be 1,200 years old, maybe even 1,300 years old. But the object is that they put all their witnessing of all their knowledge of their meditation and their way of life practice into the I Ching. And I know you guys can't read it, but I know that when some of them contacted me through the meditation practice that you're seeing here, or I speak of in that video. So they are now paying attention to what's going on. But can I guarantee that 200 years from now that they try to cover all this up again and try to be under the female goddess, which is actually Satan? There's a lot of waking up by people, but will it go back to where Satan does start ruling over? Does Satan start taking over this text? I don't believe he's going to be able to do this over, because it's pretty much uh, from the text that I'm revealed here, that their day is over, but it could be 2,000 years more before Jesus appears, and it'll be the end of man on earth. The object here is that um, people have got to really understand that this is done for the benefit for the future. And our Creator is calling everybody now at this time to really to uh, be a righteous person and obey His commands. You can't be a righteous person and not obey His commands. The text is the definition here of righteousness, or your righteousness now, is obeying our Creator. So if you obey 5 commands from Him and not the other 20, you're not a righteous person. You have to do all the commands to be a righteous person, and that's what He wants you to be. He doesn't. The problems that are unset by other people to rule over people, and they can't do what all these other commands of our Creator, the world's got to change. Example, the hardest one is going to be to obey the holy days that He has designated. And that means that by the calendar today, pretty much everybody gets the Sunday off, like it's the weekend and the day of rest. But you can't go by their announcement of what day it is, because right now at this time while I'm doing this, Thursdays are that day that everybody is not supposed to be working. So until the world or each government establishes this calendar from our Creator and gets rid of the pagan calendar, that's going to be the hardest one to follow. Do your best at living every command our Creator has given us. So with that, this video is over with, and I'm going to, start showing you the other hidden formats, or the hidden formats that are in the older books. So you can probably see some of them right now that I've got up there. A lot of text isn't making it through, but anyways, obey our Creator.